Okay, all you Batman fans out there, you are listening to the Night of the Batman, and this is Jim Starlin, who had a little bit to do with Batman along the way. Have a good one.
I'm just gonna give it a minute before we introduce, and you can. So you're gonna do the intro like you normally do.
Oh, I can't. I forgot. I haven't been on Night of the
You
Batman.
haven't been on your show in a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh, did you want to introduce, or you want me to do it? How you want to do this?
Hi, I'm Amanda,
I'm Alex.
and this is Night of the Batman. Today we have some very special guests on. Would you guys like to introduce yourself? Selves?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm Case. I am one of the co-hosts of the Men of Steel podcast, and I'm joined by my co-host.
This is J Mike, the other half of the Minnesota podcast. She called a special guest. I feel so honored.
I know I'm so touched by that whole by that whole treatment here.
Oh my
It
God.
feels like the royal treatment. I feel like I'm getting a mani-pedi simultaneously right now.
Awesome. Yeah, welcome back, guys. It's been a minute.
Yeah. I mean, it's podcast time, so there's this refresher kind of that happens when we record an episode, and then like 4 months later, the episode actually drops where it's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I remember having that like deep connection.
Spoilers, Case.
Do you ever do that where you go back and you're like, wait, what did I say about this? And then you're just like, oh wow, like I have completely like I do that a lot too, where I'll be like, wow, I feel completely the opposite, or I don't even remember what I said at all. That happens a lot actually when I go back and listen to
What
myself.
I do is I pre-critique myself and I say like, oh, I better reference this thing if we're talking about this subject matter. And then if I do or if I don't, I then like judge myself based on it.
So I don't ever make notes for this podcast, but I have another podcast with my cousin, and I have like a whole list of notes.
Tell them about what that is, so we have a plug on the air for it for people want to check it out.
I'm doing an episode by episode review of Gilmore Girls with my cousin.
And what's that
Um,
called?
the
Yeah.
Review More Girls.
Yes, it is.
There we go.
But the turnaround time is so slow because my editor works a lot.
That's me, guys. I'm the producer slash editor, and I have three active podcasts. So like it's doing that. One of them I don't edit or anything. I'm just like the co-host on superhero stuff you should know. And the other one like I do edit, but that's a rewatch thing. So like I understand the struggle sometimes of a rewatch thing
Yeah.
of being like, okay, let me set aside time to watch this episode and then review it. But we're not here to talk about episodes. We're here to talk about it's kind of episodic. It's like issues of this comic that we read. It's actually part two of a crossover that we're doing. If you want to check out part one, go over to the Men of Steel podcast to check out part one of World's Finest, Batman and Superman. So you wanted to do your summary?
Well, I just want to say that like wow,
Oh
we
yeah,
buried the lead on that one.
yeah,
For anyone
yeah.
who's like, is this the crossover? I mean, like we're here, so yes, it must be the crossover,
Yeah.
but we didn't even reference that this is the crossover. Uh, yeah, this is
Apologies.
no. This is just like we're riffing and this is good, but like
Yeah.
man,
Awesome.
yeah, we're talking about part two today of the 1999 World's Finest
That's
crossover
right.
because there have been many Batman Superman books called
Hmm.
World's Finest over the years, especially because like there was the long running series
Mhm.
from the Silver Age to the Bronze Age called World's Finest. So that like if you're just like saying like we're talking about World's Finest, people can be like which one, and you're like the recent one, and you'll be like which one. Uh, this is not the recent one. This is the one from 1999, which is different from the one from 1990, which we also talked about on Men of Steel.
Mhm.
But we are talking about part two of this. And Amanda, I believe you were about to give a sort of description of what the series as a whole is like.
Um, I can. I was gonna do just a quick recap of what we read because I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
lie, I have goldfish memory, so I very vaguely remember what happened in the first five episodes or five issues.
Yeah, episodes
Um,
issues.
anyway, so basically, Batman and Superman have only met a couple of times, And Bruce and Clark are both friends with, I cannot remember his name.
Harrison Gray.
Yes, Harrison Gray. He is a plastic surgeon. So they go and he's opening a clinic. Bruce is a donor, Clark's childhood friend. They meet there. He gets kidnapped. He gets killed. They both blame themselves because they failed to work together. So they're meeting every year on the anniversary of his death. And they are like cooperating, sort of like to commemorate. They're like mourn the loss, work through it together, and just yeah. So we are starting on episode 6. Well, you know why I keep saying it.
Issue
Issue
6.
6.
It's all right.
Words. I teach English, but words have no meaning. So we're starting on issue 6. So they've already met 4 years prior. Issue 6 kind of opens up with probably my least favorite DC character of all time, Mixoplex. Is that how you say his name? Is that how you say his name?
Mixospitalik.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna call him the Imp.
It's word salad no matter what. Like,
Yeah. I'm just gonna call him the Imp. So it opens up with Superman's little imp.
Well, you can't say the imp in this issue.
Yeah, but I can say Batman.
It's like the blight thing from Batman Beyond, where it's like you realize how little that narrows it down, basically.
Right.
So it opens up with Mr. M, and he's with this criminal who has escaped Arkham, and the criminal mistakes him for Batmite, and he'd never heard of Batmite before. So him and Batmite meet. They argue over who's a better superhero, Batman or Superman. It happens to be the anniversary of Gray's death, so they're meeting up. They pause time, put him in the 3rd dimension. Chaos ensues. I am personally like just not a fan of the hijinks. I like Batmite as a gimmick, but the imps just it's the absurdity. I don't really vibe with the absurdity, so I did not enjoy this issue. But we get to see Dick Grayson as Robin. We get hints toward the origin of Nightwing because he takes Lois and holds her hostage. They try to rescue her. They bring Robin in. They get her rescued. They stick him in a maze. They split up. Lois and Batman, Clark and Robin, and
They kind of learn
yeah.
a little bit about like each other's like they're both like we're having parallel stuff where we kind of are trying to have the other person like take us more seriously, basically, like that kind of vibe.
Everybody
Yeah.
wants something that they can't have.
Yeah.
They all want something that they can't have that somebody else has. Batman wants power. Superman wants to be normal. Lois wants to be looked at as one of the boys, and Dick Grayson wants to be seen as an adult. They all want something that they can't have.
I love that. Just like pausing for a second, I do love that moment where like he's about to turn Superman like normal or something like that, and Superman just makes it look like okay, like
Yeah,
he's just
that'd
kind
be
of
nice.
like
Yeah.
it's like all right, that's so like Smallville, like Tom Welling coded,
Right.
where he's just like he's like all right, hey, don't threaten me with the good time, basically.
Yeah, timeline wise, so like this whole book has this like interesting element of being like from very specifically like 20, not even 20, like 15 years into the Bronze Age, or not the Bronze Age, pardon me, the post-crisis era being like solidified. And so they have this like compressed DC timeline that is somewhere in the ballpark of like a little over 10 years for everything. And so this actually would sort of line up roughly with the Crisis of the Crimson Kryptonite story in Superman, where he dealing with Mr. Mxyzptlk has his powers removed and has an extended arc of being a normal human. And this year would be roughly equivalent to that in the timetable, because it's just a little bit before the relationship with Lois becomes like really good, and it's like right after the well, I guess I was gonna say it's right after the Exile story, which means that it doesn't quite line up right with that. So because we know when the Exile story happens in the next in later issues here. So
Yeah.
And then like a lot of the other issues I've noticed, like just to kind of like just to kind of like go over them. A lot of them, like at least like I think the next one is.
I was
Uh,
gonna go through issue by issue, but I can quickly run through all of it if
well,
you
I know
want.
the next one was with Catwoman, and we.
No, it's not. The next
The
one
next one
is
is.
the Smallville issue, which was my favorite out of the
Mhm.
entire run.
That one's really good.
So that's why the timeline kind of got a little confusing to me because presumably he doesn't have Jason Todd yet, but Jason is his Robin for more than a year, isn't he?
Well,
Like,
yeah, it's kind of like the New 52 kind of thing where they're just
This
like,
is squaring or circling a square peg kind of situation here.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's sort of like presumed in this book at least. I would guess that like Dick leaves immediately following, and Jason gets picked up like very shortly after,
for
and
like a
yes, it's
Yeah.
not
year.
quite a full year.
Yeah.
What I do find interesting is that in addition to the Jason Todd stuff, there is the exile stuff. And the killing of the super criminals. So like there is like an attention to both of their timelines at this point.
We also mentioned the crippling of Barbara Gordon, which I thought that originally happened in The Killing Joke, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not in Death
Yeah,
of the
but they
Family.
got
So
In Death
yeah,
of the
but they're
Family, though, it is confirmed to like they reference it.
yeah.
Um,
I,
They're referencing two different events that happened, kind of,
yeah.
because originally that was non-canon,
Non-canon.
and then like they were like, "Oh, we really like this, so we're gonna fold this in," basically.
yeah, and explicitly, Death in the Family references the crippling of Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh.
This all started because of what, like Frank Miller, basically. Like if we had to kind of look at it in a roundabout way, a little bit, like kind
Miller
of like.
Moore, one of those guys.
Yeah, because it's just like, oh yeah, the suit and the little case thing. We gotta like somehow pay that off. I'm like, do you though? Like, do you?
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
kind of like an alternate like universe like future, I think, or that's how I looked at it before.
But yeah, and I think like the opening of the seventh issue gives away that it is like shortly after the death of Jason because you see the case.
Yeah.
You see the Robin uniform. And then shortly after in a couple panels, I keep forgetting Super Clark. Clark mentions the death of Jason and the crippling of Batgirl, and then he's like, which I know is Barbara Gordon.
Mhm.
And he admits to having killed three I'm gonna say aliens, but like three people right before he stopped Bruce from killing the Joker. Bruce gets upset, I think justifiably, because it does seem very hypocritical, even though like Superman was preventing him from getting revenge because he knew the weight that killing had like shoulders, and he didn't want Bruce to go through that. Then he yoinks him, kidnaps him from the Batcave, and takes him to Smallville.
One of my favorite panels, by the way, when he's just like he's holding Batman under his shoulder like a football player like holds like a
Yes.
football under him. Basically, Batman just looks like so defeated and just so like just put me down. Basically,
Right.
it's great.
I don't know if you guys have cats, but it makes me think of the way that Alex will like pick up one of our cats is my cat. She's very much like all about me. Alex will scoop her up and she will just like deflate
Yeah.
and look so so dejected.
Yeah, it's just
And
me
that's
looking
kind
like
of
dead straight, like just forward, basically while I'm doing same.
yeah. But Clark shows him around trying to show Bruce like what he's fighting for, like why he does what he does. They end up having to save a doctor's life and deliver a baby. A very sweet moment with the Kents where Clark is like, I think that they're gonna name the baby Jason. And it like it felt like sweet and wholesome, but also like eyebrow raise. What were your guys' opinion of that issue 7, and how it's continuing the overall like, oh my god, words are hard, brain is
Story.
dead.
I like this
Yes.
issue a lot. I need to
Yeah.
call out the fact that at the end of the issue, it is so hard to tell which person is which between Clark and Bruce.
Yes.
Yes.
Like
Okay.
Yes.
they establish their
Yes.
shirt colors as being different, but god damn it, their hair is the exact same.
Yeah.
And like they are the same height. of similar complexion and similar design and
And
build.
they took Clark's glasses off.
And they took
Yeah.
the glasses off.
take
Why
off
did they
his
take off his
glasses?
glasses?
I was looking, I was like, wait, so who's reacting to this? I'm like, I feel like an idiot right now.
I
I was
know,
looking,
I
was
know. I
like,
had to
what
keep
is
double checking,
happening?
like who was established as like who's in the blue shirt versus the green shirt.
Oh God! Like the issue prior, I had to look for the glasses. I was like,
It doesn't help that like partially too, like I'm not gonna say that the guy who draws it has like it's not like a Steve Dillon thing where he has like same face for like everyone. But like it's sometimes when I look and I'm like the faces are too similar, man. Like
Yeah.
you gotta do
Yeah.
something with it.
And this is the back half of the book where the artist is more it gets switched up issue over issue.
Mhm.
Like so it was more consistent at the beginning of the book. And so this is one of the fill-in artists and it's just like you can see that like the attention to like the facial details and so forth isn't there.
Yeah.
I like this issue a lot overall.
Yeah.
It gives me a Man for All Season vibes,
Yes.
or Superman for All Season vibes, I should say, um, because of the Smallville emphasis, which I think is really nice.
The
It gives us,
field.
yeah, it gives us a reminder of who Clark was in this timeline, this like Man of Steel timeline, where he was a
Mhm.
football star and like he had like a great relationship with Lana, but they weren't ever like really together. Um, and like all of these elements of like very much solidifying the thesis of what post-crisis Superman and Batman were. Like the Jason Todd stuff was like the big story of like of like the immediate post-crisis
Right.
period, and the Killing Joke was like another big Batman story of this era
Mhm.
that they could go back to and reference. And weirdly, this means that the 1990 World's Finest book, which takes place right after the crippling of Barbara Gordon, happens right after this goddamn issue. Uh,
Crazy. Um, the thing that kind of I tripped up on a little bit was like, and I think it's maybe one of those, you can maybe answer this for me. It kind of felt like they were trying to have their cake and eat it too when Clark was describing his younger self, and he's like, "Oh, I was like the, star of the football team, but also like a nerd like whenever I was in school." And I was like,
yeah,
"What?"
Yeah.
listen, as somebody who went to a very small high school, those people existed. Okay,
You can't be both. Like,
like
I don't
no, no,
know.
no. You totally can be both. Like,
yeah.
and like Superman as like as like a Brainiac, I think is a good take for the character.
Mhm.
Like the animated series, for example, did this for where it's like you just daydreamed yourself into another A in the pilot, and like that I think is a good take for Superman. I think it's all fine. It's just a very particular Superman who is the football jock,
Yeah.
and so that's the part that's like weird to us because we're so used to like Clark Kent being a nebbish figure, and this is the one time where like they tried to play him up as being like, no, 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 he was the captain of the football team and like the star and like also a straight A student and like the
Yeah.
hottest cheerleader was into him and like and he didn't have time for her because he was too cool, like
Yeah.
like that's kind of the thing that was like the man, like the John Byrne Superman is definitely supposed to be a person that like men want to be him, women want to be with him, kind of
Oh
character.
yeah. It's I got Smallville brain, so I know even then like they eventually went back on this, but the whole thing of him being on the football team was just a big like no, especially in the earlier seasons, and then season 4 there's like forget it, like he's on the he's on the team now, I guess. Like it was like all right guys, like you get to a fourth season, I guess you're like why not? But yeah, like I trip over that too because I think of the classic Christopher Reeve stuff where he's like much more, just on the sideline. So that was definitely one of those things. I do like the Man of Steel timeline overall, but I do think there are some things where I'm like, well, yeah, there were some missteps maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you wanted to did you have anything or did you want to keep going on the summary
I can keep
parts?
going on because the next one's the Catwoman episode.
I really
Yeah,
liked that one too.
you want to take over for that one since that was like I think your favorite.
Oh no, you can. It's your thing.
All right. So, basically, you open up and you see Lois Lane walking in
LexCorp.
LexCorp.
Is it
Yes,
LexCorp?
Yeah, Luthor
Yeah.
Corp. LexCorp?
It's LexCorp in this.
It's
Yeah.
okay. Walking in LexCorp, and she's walking into Lex's like private office. She gets stopped by security. They're like, "We've been tracking you." Blah blah blah. Pull her out. Lex says something. Then we see that Catwoman is already like she's already snuck in. Um, Lex and Lois have a short exchange. He's waiting for somebody. Oh, it's Bruce. Bruce shows up late. Ignores Lex. Talks to Lois. Um, much to it just gets under Lex's skin. So Catwoman intentionally sets off the alarm, causes mayhem. Um, Obviously Bruce goes and changes into Batman. Superman shows up. They're like, "Oh, this was Catwoman." Lex tries to get Batman and Superman to leave. Um, and they're just like, "If you want her caught, we are your best option." Like he eventually lets them go and try to find her. She takes Lois hostage, um, drops Alfred down a elevator shaft. Superman saves him, but it lets her get a little bit of a head start. Um, Superman ends up catching her after some more mayhem, gets back the data that she stole, and it's ultimately revealed that I think like Lex was kind of in on it. Um, and then at the very end of the episode, he dies trying to test the like program that she'd stolen. So it was an interesting story. Also, Clark finally tells Lois that he's Superman at the end, or it's implied that he very shortly after the end tells her that he's Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Lex is dying in this one, so it's kind of setting Matt up, that whole thing of like him like faking his it because it's setting up the clone stuff, right?
Yes. So, and actually, this is where it gets a little like dicey with the 1990 World's Finest, because
Oh,
that is
really?
very clearly he's got the cancer hand Lex Luthor, like the very brief period where Lex Luthor had like the robot hand.
Hmm.
Is this period right here? And actually, I realize now that the Crisis of the Crimson Crimson ends with him doing the faking his death story. So that is this thing right here, which is that Lex Luthor in this story, they present the scenario that he basically staged the theft by Catwoman,
Mhm.
anticipating that it would be an excuse to bump up the test flight of this test spacecraft that he has, um, with which he was going to use to fake his death. And so he was just like putting that into motion. Now, Superman and Batman getting involved and sort of preventing Catwoman from getting away, he had to like come up with this excuse that she could have like emailed it out while she was briefly outside of the building. And so that sort of sets up why Lex Luthor tries this like crazy uh experiment that then blows up in his face, quote unquote. And that's because like this is that fixed point in the DC lore where he fakes his death, clones himself, and then is the clone Lex Luthor Jr. in time for the death and return of Superman stuff, which is what
Mhm.
happens in the next book.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The next two issues I like skimmed through because I missed the dynamic between Bruce and Clark. So the next one obviously takes place after Superman's death. You have the like I think it was like 5 or 6 total different people trying to be Superman. I will say my favorite one of my favorite Superman characters is Connor, and we had Connor. I love him. I love Superman. He's
Yeah, I
just a
just want to
little
correct one
punk.
thing, which is that this issue is a two-part issue, which takes place at two times of year. And so the
Hmm.
first story takes place on the anniversary of Harrison Gray's death. And so this is during the time where Superman is dead and he has the imposters. And then there is a second story that takes place a few months later, during the time where Superman's back, but Batman has his back broken.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Thank you for the correction. But yes. So the part with the imposters. Oh my God, I cannot remember who the person was trying to steal something, but they were trying to steal some.
It was just like some like other like it was like some ninja guy or something. Like it
But
was it
Well,
it
this
was
is
was
where
the
we bring
twins. It was
back
one
the
of the
twins. Yeah,
twins.
Lonnie
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Ronnie. Yeah.
but he was stealing. J Mike, what is your favorite not Interpol
Intergang.
Intergang
Intergang.
Intergang?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was stealing some Intergang tech, and he ends up getting stopped by Batman and all of the Superman imposters. And then in the second issue, his brother is trying to steal, I think, still trying to steal stuff from Wayne Tech. And at this point in time, Batman's back has been broken by Bane, so it is
Azrael.
yeah, Azrael,
As bats.
yeah, as bats. And so Superman is very much like, I don't know you, I don't trust you, you know where the line is, right? Um, but he
It
ends up
was
getting
kind of
stopped. It's off
funny.
of a fake,
Yeah.
like somebody who is committing murders, that are
Yeah.
attributing to Batman, and it is obviously like not Batman. As Bats is not out there killing people. He does know like where the line is. Um,
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say about those two issues, I
He
guess, because I'm not, I don't know.
It kind of cracked me up though because like whenever Superman does show up to talk to like Asbats, like he's like, "Oh, so I noticed that you lead lined your mask and everything." Like it's just very much like I think Asbats barely talks to him. It's much more just like kind of just ignore, like not ignoring him, but just very much like giving him a little bit of the cold shoulder the whole time. So I was like,
Yeah.
"Brr, Azrael, like Jesus, come on, man." It was kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, this issue, as with every issue in the series, but like this issue in particular, I think is the most like this is a snapshot of DC Comics at a very particular time kind of thing.
Hmm.
And in this case, it's the big spectacles of like '93, where it's like, the death and return of Superman, and then the breaking of Batman are both like these big like money drivers for DC that were events that people remember. Um, but really changed the fundamental characters of both of their respective heroes for the period of time. And so this gets to see Batman interacting with the Supermen and being like, "Oh, none of you remember Harrison Gray. Oh, okay, so none of you are really Superman.
Yeah.
Cool."
Hmm.
And then the flip side of that with Superman with Asbats and being like, "Oh, you're kind of fucked up in the head, man."
Yeah.
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 He's like, "All right, man, I'm just gonna leave now. See ya."
Yeah.
But I guess you're not as bad as you could be, and you have some approval from Bruce, I guess is the deal. Which occurred to me where he's like, he says that you must have some sort of a relationship with Batman, and I'm like,
Hmm.
why is that the case? Because he
Yeah.
easily could be just an imposter.
Yeah, it could just be some
Yeah.
crazy guy who like
He could be
made
in
like a
hockey
gimmick.
pads.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, why do you think he has any authority? Just because your suit looks professionally made, I guess that you are you are working with
He's
Bruce.
thinking he could be like, well, even with Bruce out of commission, he would call Dick Grayson if there was somebody pretending to be Batman who was not Batman, and he would get that nixed, right?
It's like Batman as an image character is what Azrael basically is, or definitely turned into. It's definitely around that time, like
Oh
Kingdom
yeah,
Come too.
Yeah.
I mean that's all the DC response to the Marvel going into the image wave, because this all starts with like
Hmm.
those like Marvel artists really like kind of pushing the boundaries, especially with like Cable with like the Rob Liefeld stuff and like and
Mhm.
things
Yeah.
like that, going into what is image. And really, let's be honest, we're talking about Extreme. We're talking about the Rob Liefeld crap. Um, like the Superman, like Death and Return of Superman has like Louise Simonson is one of the writers on that series. Like she got kicked off of New Mutants because of Rob Liefeld.
Really?
That sucks.
Yeah, we
Huh.
talked about this, J. Mike, when we
I'm trying
covered
to
the Death and
remember.
Return of Superman. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
12 hours of our life.
yeah. Yeah.
That's like me. That's like me on flashbacks where my co-host will bring up, he's like, "Oh yeah, remember you guys brought that?" Like I'll bring up something, I think it's the first time I mentioned it. He's like, "No, I remember like a previous episode, like before he joined, like you and your former co-host like brought this up basically." And I was like, "Oh, like it's one of those things where I'm constantly surprised by what like past me said, basically."
Yeah, no, comics time is weird. And I'm not trying to like, or rather, podcast time is weird. So I'm
Oh
not trying
yeah.
to like say that it's not I mean comics time is very weird, but podcast time is especially weird. So like it's been years since we talked about these books. But yeah, I mean Louise Simonson being on the Superman books definitely made like the Doomsday stuff and like the elements of the four Supermen being in response to the like
Mhm.
the trends in comic books of the time. And Asbats is definitely a response to the trends in comic books of the time. Like, what if
Yeah.
we had big fucking shoulder pads and we killed the bad guys? Like, is the argument that Asbats makes.
And then fans liked it, and they were like, "No, you're not supposed to like this. What are you doing?"
All right, fine. Here's the guy with the
I
flaming swords.
Yeah, here, we'll make it worse. Here, how about he's red now too? It's like we love that too. They're like, "Damn it."
like I love that you know that comics are like ultimately like they are originally like made for children because most of them, especially like DC and Marvel, have not Marvel so much actually, but they have like that very like hard line of like no killing or like when they do kill, there is a lot of emotional turmoil and grief. And I think that it's interesting because it would be ultimately a lot more effective if they like would be more willing to use lethal force.
But then they wouldn't have
But then
colorful
they,
villains to come back every
Yeah,
week.
it's
yes,
that weird balance right there that has to
yeah,
happen.
Yeah, because otherwise, like Punisher, it's like, well, I mean, he has a few like reoccurring characters, but most of them he just ends up killing. So it's like you have like a few of them, but he kind of seems ineffective if his whole thing is killing his villains, and
Yeah.
most of them keep coming back. So
yeah. I mean, like obviously it preserves like the villains to be reused, especially fan favorites, like in Batman's case, the Joker or Two-Face.
yeah, Batman's not
But
snapping necks in this universe, so
yeah,
that's good.
Right.
yeah. But like, I don't know. Every time I read a comic, sometimes I get frustrated because it does pose the question, would there ultimately be more lives saved, more good done had they or had the hero like compromised his own morals to do like I don't know, to preserve like the future. Like and obviously like no, they should not compromise their morals. A lot of these are like laying out like morals for children.
Mhm.
However, I don't
Right.
know.
This is the fundamental question of like, should the hero kill because like is he sacrificing more lives by not killing
Mm-hmm.
the villain in the situation? And the
Yeah.
Joker
Yeah.
is the ultimate example of that, just because the
Yeah.
Joker is like straight up a sociopathic murderer. That
And they have a talk about that in this kind of yeah.
yeah, I think that you could make a case for Superman especially
Yeah.
Mhm.
needing to have that kind of barrier because of how powerful he is. It's like
Mhm.
the argument that he makes in Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, where it's like Superman can't kill, and if he ever does,
Mhm.
like he needs to not be an active superhero anymore
Yeah.
Yeah.
because he's so powerful. Batman is a harder one to say. Like,
Yeah.
and that you know, like a real person in the real world against the real Joker, yeah, probably should just kill him.
Yes. But again, like also I think that for Bruce it comes down to like when he crosses that line, then he can keep crossing it kind of deal. And like at the
Also, he
point that he
works.
kills, he's no longer just doing good. He has then committed an act of great violence that he is trying so hard to prevent. And so like I get it, but I also am just like,
I also do feel like it's kind of like one of those things that if he ever did that, it would be like at the beginning of Batman Beyond, where like you have like an old Bruce Wayne just in the cave going like never again, and like just like cutting all the lights out in the
Well,
Batcave, like it
but
would be
that's
over.
Batman, as opposed to like a superhero who is in the Batman position. Like we just referenced the Punisher. And
Yeah.
so like the a character who kind of falls somewhere in between the lines of the Punisher, who is all
Mm.
about murdering all of his bad guys, and Batman, who is about not murdering any of his bad guys.
Yeah.
Crippling
Uh
him severely.
Green Arrow. Green
Yeah.
Arrow doesn't Green Arrow like commit murders and that's why
Occasionally. Yeah, occasionally. Definitely in Longbow Hunters, he does.
yeah. I, I I mean I think that in a realistic space, the movie scenario of I don't have to save you either is going to come up a fair number of times with
Mm-hmm.
Batman, and that's going to run out of those villains pretty quick. That's always the conversation about like, oh, in the comics, like the villains always get away, and in the movies they don't because it's a one and done villain anyway.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, like Batman 89 with him. Like, I feel like if it was now, they might not. I don't know though, because Marvel ends up killing a lot of their villains too. Like, but I feel like if certain movies were made now with like franchises in mind, they would kill them off. But like a lot of like, especially the older 90s movies, they'd kill the villains off, or they would do a thing like, especially in Batman Forever, where they'd have like one of them die and then the other live, basically, even though they weren't going to come back, I
Mhm.
guess.
Also,
Interesting.
also, I apologize for derailing the conversation.
You're
I
good.
don't know how I got on
It was
that
just part of the
issue.
book. It's something they
I don't know how I got on that
No,
topic.
Asbats is that conversation. Like that, it makes
Yeah.
sense. Like,
they bring
and
up in the
and the
book.
and the Superman ones are that conversation too, because especially the Eradicator is that conversation
Yeah.
in the Superman context, and it is brought up with both of the twins in the story. So both
Yeah.
Lonnie and Ronnie are
Mhm.
wounded in identical ways, mirroring each other, where they each lose a hand and they each have a scar on their eye. Uh, just because we need to have everything be symmetrical with these two.
I was
Um,
so sick of these twins, but towards the end of the book, I was like,
which is
enough.
so funny because they're not in most of the fucking book. They're in the
Yeah.
first issue, they're here, and then they're in the last issue.
I was
And it's
just
because
like,
the last issue, which we're about to talk about, is a slog.
Oh my God.
yeah.
Okay, so the last issue, it was extra long, and it was wild. Okay, so you start off with a prison breakout in Metropolis and Arkham, right?
Hmm.
I think it totals to 12 villains total.
Yeah, good
Um,
setup. Good
and
setup right here.
yeah, so the Metropolis villains are like, yeah, we're gonna go to Gotham because there's no Superman in Gotham, so we're just gonna go do crime in Gotham instead, and we'll take over the Gotham villains. And the
Which, to
Gotham,
be fair, by all rights, they should be. We're talking about characters who are able to fight Superman versus characters who have trouble with Batman. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poison Ivy's kind of goaded though.
I'm not saying that like the Batman ones are like ineffective. I'm just saying that like they have to be very selective on which Superman villains they pick for it to be a good
Well,
fight here.
Yeah.
because well,
Definitely.
they couldn't have picked like Brainiac
Right,
or
exactly.
Would
oh
have been
god,
over.
or Darkseid. Like
Oh yeah, if Darkseid shows up, it's over for everyone. Everybody just packs up their stuff and
Yeah.
goes home.
Yeah.
so so anyway, all of these like C-list Superman villains go to Gotham. And the Gotham villains are like, yeah, we're gonna defend Gotham. They're being led by the twins, by the way, both groups by the respective twins.
Yay.
Um, we then we then like cut scene. We see Jimmy on the roof with a bat signal, trying to get footage of Batman because he's just like, I need to prove that Batman's real. He's like, I know he's real, but people don't believe, and the public deserves to know. And journalism and like integrity, and there's a argument between him and the Gotham PD.
And like Gordon
Um,
mainly. Yeah.
Superman shows up, get Jimmy to leave. Batman and Superman have a conversation. It is once again the anniversary of the death. So they what do they do after that? I'm so sorry. It was all over the place.
They kind of talk like they talk about like how like they're basically talking about Jimmy and like how he kind of needs to back off, and then like it does that thing that like I'm gonna say like my main point, like it does, other things have done this, but like Archer used to do this all the time where they have like someone say something and it feeds into what the other person is saying, like in the
Oh
other
yeah, you're
person.
talking about the first couple panels, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
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 yeah. So the this issue being the last issue mirrors the first issue by
Mm.
having the same structure at the opening,
Hmm.
where each half of the page, like the page is bisected, and one side is the Metropolis side, the other side is the Gotham side.
Yep.
But if you read it like a normal comic book page, the dialogue all flows pretty well, which is
Yeah.
actually like a very like effective writing style. Like
Hmm.
it's impressive that he was able to make the dialogue work. but like you said, like it has this like Archer vibe of being like cutting between the scenes, like in a way that can kind of be like headache inducing.
Yeah.
Yep. Um, I don't exactly remember what happens after Jim Gordon talks to Jimmy Olsen,
The
but at some point
yeah.
we get to villains running into each other. So you start with
Well,
Deadshot
I
and
kind of remember this. So, they have a moment with like the press where they're like, "Oh, we'll let the press know first," because like they're obviously listening into the police scanner, Jimmy, and them are, and so like they say like, "Oh, Reverse Flash is like over here at this one location," and so like they go over there, and like obviously they told them the wrong location, so they would stay out of it. And so like they go over and like basically you have both sides meeting up and there's like they
it's
but before that happens like Jimmy talks to this random guy at like this ATM or something. Like there's like this random ass character that just wanders into trouble that gets like held hostage and we find out
that
that
was
that's
after Deadshot. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, but that's we find out that that's like Harrison Gray,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which shocked me.
Yep. Um, so I think like the two bonus guys, um, were supposed to be Deadshot and Bloodsport,
Yep.
and
And then
and
one of them,
they I was gonna say they take each other out pretty easily, or well, they're gonna take each other out, and then they're stopped by Batman and Superman, and both like captured. The Joker harasses Jimmy for a little bit, and then goes, and I don't know that
Well,
Superman
wait, before we
villain.
move on from the Deadshot Bloodsport,
I'm
we
sorry.
do have to call out the fact that like there's the whole like this scene is so much funnier now because of the post Suicide Squad situation, which
oh
is
right,
that Deadshot is Will Smith in the original Suicide Squad movie, and Bloodsport is Idris Elba in the Suicide Squad, and was
Hmm.
basically the replacement character for Deadshot.
I didn't recognize him without his really cool helmet. That's why I was like, I know one of them earlier. I was like, oh, the bandana thing. It's like, nah, just go with the xenomorph looking helmet
Oh
that he
yeah, yeah.
wears. And the other one, that one looks so much cooler. I would have recognized him then.
Yeah, also with the teleporting guns as opposed to like the weird microcircuitry thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like you have to know who the characters are, but it is funnier in light of James Gunn.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
definitely.
I guess we'll say. Anyway, so sorry to cut you off
Yeah.
there.
No, no, you're good. Interrupt me as much as you'd like. I ramble. Um, so we get the Joker. I do not know the Superman villain who he's facing, or
Yeah,
I
villain, the
don't
little goblin
I
guy.
either.
don't either.
Like,
I was
yeah, like
confused.
he's definitely a character from the 90s that I recognize as existing, and that's about all I can say. But
Okay.
he's
You
got the
managed
whole
to
like
stump
multiple
case.
man situation of being like impact makes him split in parts.
It's like he's like Golem if Golem was like a super villain, you know? Like that's what he reminded me of. So yeah, you got this little like golem thing fighting the Joker. Poison Ivy and Freeze. All the other people are like fighting in a group is what it seems.
Well,
Um
we get Hellgrimite versus Abraxas, which I believe was Killer Moth's name when he was transformed into a
okay.
moth monster
Yeah,
by Neuron.
yeah. Yeah, he was for my Batman guide that I used to have and looking at that
And
drawing of him and being like, man, that looks really cool. Like I just that's what I remember. That's what I know about the character
Yeah.
basically is him just looking super cool. That's about it.
so in light of all of the villains being around Gotham, they call in for backup. So you end up with Connor. We love Superboy. Supergirl, but the way Alex explained to me, she is not like normal
Matrix.
Kara Supergirl. She was like a different
No, she
Supergirl.
is not. This is
Oh,
the
we're gonna
weird
have to go to that
Supergirl.
explanation again, every case.
Oh, it's
We're not
not.
going to do the painfully long explanation that I did on a recent episode, but
Oh God.
this is yes, this is the goo entity Supergirl
Okay.
from the 90s.
Oh,
Okay.
nice. I thought so.
You had Dick Grayson and you had Tim Drake. Am I forgetting somebody? Oh, and um
Steel.
Steel and um Azrael. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Different
they,
Asriel or same? Because there's
I
two
would
of them, right? Like there's
it,
the Michael
they,
Lane, right? Is there?
it
Hmm?
should I assumed it was same
There's
Azrael
two.
since he was already introduced. It would
There's
make
okay.
sense.
There's like two different Asriels, right?
This is classic Azrael,
Okay,
Jean-Paul Valley.
gotcha. The
Yeah.
The cool
costume
one.
kind of threw me off.
Yeah. I had some questions about the last issue, which I'll ask you in a minute once we get to my questions. Okay, so they basically like take on the villains. You get to see Superboy and Robin working together, which I love. I love Tim Drake and Connor. They need to be in more crossovers together. They take down
Oh,
um
quick pause. The weird gremlin thing that Joker's fighting is named Riot.
Riot.
Yes, it's
Okay.
named
Okay.
Riot. They do say it in the issue. I was like, it must be in here.
Yeah.
Like this is
I
the kind
just
of issue where every character they give the name because the whole point is to introduce you to the weird rogues galleries between the two books. Like,
Yeah.
okay. So yes, the Joker and Riot. Um, so I don't remember who everybody else is fighting, and that's so bad. Um, I know that Freeze fights oh my God. The Superman villain where whenever he like takes a hit, he gets stronger and stronger. What is his name?
I don't know. He's kind of like
He was named. He's
Oh, they name him in here.
yeah.
who's
The
first fighting?
he was in My Adventures with Superman, the purple guy, but he's not purple in this one.
I don't know.
And Lex worked for him.
Sound like we have the book right next to us.
Right.
Um, I'm looking for who Freeze is fighting because there's a shot of him hitting Helgramite, and there's Anomaly, which is like a weird character from this.
Anomaly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Anomaly.
It's not okay. So he's not who I thought he was. I
Yeah,
thought,
you're thinking of Parasite, or
yeah,
Ivo is Parasite in My Adventures with Superman.
yeah. That's who I was thinking it was Parasite. I'm so sorry. I'm not like very familiar with Superman's Rogues Gallery, like at
These
all.
are weird Rogues Gallery characters, for the record. Like you said, this is like the C-listers, which is necessary. Like as it is, they have Metallo in this group, and I'm like,
Metallo.
how is Metallo losing?
I think Metallo is who I was thinking was supposed to be um you just said his name, Ivo.
Parasite, or yeah,
Yes. I'm so sorry. It's such an easy name. But yeah, so I think I was thinking Metallo was supposed to be Parasite for some reason.
oh yeah, because they
But
do make the Metallo drones later in the My Adventures with Superman,
Yeah.
so that might be
okay.
also what you're
Yeah.
thinking of.
I'm sorry. But
The biggest name we have here is Joker, though, probably out of all of them, honestly.
Poison Ivy.
She's a bigger deal now. I would argue back in like the 90s, she was probably like one of the villains you knew, but like not as big as I feel like she's had a resurgence now,
feel-
definitely.
Poison Ivy would be like a good like if Superman was going to fight a Batman villain, I think Poison Ivy would probably be a good matchup because she does actually have powers and she
Sometimes.
can be extremely overpowered at times with like the ability to
Yeah.
control plants and the poison. But yeah, so she fights Metallo. Connor and Tim take care of her. Supergirl gets Clayface and
Right, I do like that they call out like, I'm not afraid of weird protoplasmic goo because I am one.
Yeah.
I don't know who the Superman villain is that he's like paired up against. He just looks like this tiny little man. And
Are you talking about the toy
is that the toy maker?
man?
It's
Toy
Toyman,
Man, yeah.
yeah.
Toy man.
Okay. So she takes them out. The
Joker just shoots Riot at some point.
yeah.
Or one of them.
It ends up anyway, the Batman group and Superman group, they take care of everybody. Except for Riot and the Joker, and
talk
they
about
end
your
up
boy,
getting
Nightwing?
surrounded. Yeah. My boy Nightwing takes care of the two bugs.
With some like
bugs.
with some bug spray.
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
great moment.
Bug spray.
That was great. Very
He makes a
on
raid
brand.
joke in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very Nightwing, very on brand.
And then you see the twins meeting up, and they realize who Dr. Gray is, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna hold him hostage," and they like take Jimmy as well, and like
Make him
make
film
him
it.
film so that
Yeah.
way, he can like show the press. The heroes obviously like end up winning, get all of the villains taken back, and then Jimmy runs and he has to show Gordon and Superman who they have, and the fact that they have Harrison Gray. So Superman and Batman are like, oh my God, we get to rectify what happened all those years ago. They go to try to save him. A fight ensues, and then Two-Face shows up.
Two-Face,
Right.
What the
fuck?
okay, so the way that he speaks, though, it makes it seem like it's not actually like Harvey Dent Two-Face, but that it's the guy from the original, like the very first issue.
Did we meet him at any point? Like, unless I'm just completely blanking.
We don't see Two-Face, and Two-Face tells them that he was gonna that he said that he was gonna see them again.
Did he just meet like
Reading too much into it? I could be English majoring too hard right now, and that's fine. But like just the way that he speaks, it makes me feel like he's supposed to be not Harvey Dent, but
But Eric Stang, the guy, like the
Yeah.
criminal from the first one.
yeah.
I know it's really weird because like all of a sudden Two-Face is the one like pulling the strings on this whole
All
thing,
the strings.
and
they
like
would
it's fucking Two-Face, man. Like he's
Exactly.
a Batman villain, which is like all well and good, but like he's not like a master criminal on that level.
no.
yeah.
And I just it would make a lot more sense if they're trying to make it like Eric Stane as Two-Face and not like Harvey Dent. Because like I'm assuming that the world's finest, they take place outside of continuity, right? Like they're not
It's trying to
made, like,
weave itself
continuity.
in.
Well,
Into
yeah, this is
continuity.
trying to be weaved into the existing continuity of DC.
That's why I keep
Yeah.
referencing stuff.
But,
Yeah.
like,
Oh Christ. Like the Two-Face reveal, I was just like, oh, well, it's certainly a way to try to like wrap things up. Um I
yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I get that the twins, which was a good vehicle for like showing off the differences, like the dichotomy of Metropolis and Gotham, like the
Is
Yeah.
that why
twins are-
he works with them? It's because
because
they're
it's Two-Face.
twins.
It's because it's Two-Face and they're twins.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know what? Like Two-Face isn't Batman's S tier villain.
No.
Joker.
Right.
Like as much as I hate to say, I hate the Joker. Like I don't think that there is a character that I get more tired of seeing than the Joker. But like that is Batman's villain. Like Batman and the Joker.
But even the Joker is in the ballpark of like, well, but like honestly, you need to have like you need to have a Superman villain also involved to like justify this. Like Two-Face by himself, you know, if it was like Two-Face and someone from the Superman's Rogues
Or,
Gallery, like
Lex came back.
Well, yeah, because Lex is Australian right now, so it can't really.
Right, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so like this is like I said, like this is kind of where it goes like really off the rails and it makes no sense. Like,
Oh,
no
yes.
sense.
Bruno Mannheim, the inner gang guy, like
Yeah, I would
like,
have taken that. Yeah.
like have it be a Metropolis and Gotham gang situation, like
Yeah.
between the two of them. Like just Two-Face by himself does not feel like a sufficient master criminal. Ra's al Ghul would have felt like a sufficient
Yeah.
master criminal. Like,
Would you
Hell, I'd even
consider
take Reverse Flash.
Yeah, that was teased, and I said, you know what?
Yeah,
As
that would
somebody
make more
that's the
sense.
Flash like rewatch show, I would have been like, all right, like you know what? I buy it. He's crazy. You know what? That
It
could be
was
his
me,
motivation.
Barry.
yeah.
Yeah.
or go really crazy and make it the fiance, make it the girl. Make
Also true.
her-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this Harrison Gray being like not actually fucking dead, but just had amnesia for 10 years.
Yeah.
He was poisoned
subplot.
by his body double.
His body double poisoned him and then died in the story, and he's been living with amnesia for 10 years, and then Jimmy Olsen just happens to like bump into him 10 years later, as do the twins, and this sets up like whatever this MacGuffin of a closing issue, because again, I really like the structure of this book, the
Yeah.
Same Time Next Year structure of each issue is checking in 1 year later, and we get to like see like snapshots of the DCU like separated that way. That's great structure. The framing device, especially the way they try to tie it up, especially ending with a fucking wedding like 1 year later, like that whole framing device, and especially the end, is not the thing that sells this book. The thing
No.
that sells this book is the actual individual issues in between.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the last two were the weakest, and it's so upsetting because
I will say one positive thing about it. I don't know if the artist just maybe decided to change their look at the end, like Bruce and Clark, or maybe it was a slightly different artist. I kind of like how Bruce and him look at the end, like look very animated series-esque, like especially Bruce Wayne at the wedding at the
Yeah.
end of this. Like I really like how they look. The other characters are like meh, but like I like how he drew them at the end. Like I thought they both look great. I'm like, where was this earlier, man? Like this looks really good. Like I like some of the other art in it, but I was just like, it looks like they look like off the page at the end a little bit, or just like how I picture them in my head a little bit.
Well, this issue is like kind of all over the place in art. Like, let's talk about the splash page of all of the Bat and Super
Oh,
Family
thank God.
popping down. And particularly, I
Thank
want to
God.
draw attention to Supergirl in the fall.
yes, what is she?
What is this
Oh my
pose?
God. I didn't notice that. That is
Superman
crazy.
looks just
Yeah,
like Nick
she's-
Cannon. Or not Nick Cannon, but
Also-
what's his name?
She's like
Nick
doing
Cage?
like a
Nick Cage,
cross,
yeah.
Yeah,
crossing her legs, kind of like she's
yeah,
like,
she's doing this weird cross legs, and you can see fully up her skirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what the
Yeah,
heck?
I assumed she was just wearing shorts at that point.
I mean,
I mean,
she's
she
like
is
a
wearing
goo
shorts, like
person.
which
But,
is
She
like,
can make herself
which is
look
like
any
kind of fine.
way.
But what is this pose?
It's
Like, why are you
bizarre.
drawing this pose?
And then Batman's completely like blacked out to where he looks like he's wearing like the movie costume or something. It's
Right.
bizarre.
well, no, and like,
Superboy's wearing goggles.
well, Superboy, like he
I
looks
kind of like
he's
that
full
look,
on.
honestly.
It's not bad. It's not
Oh.
bad. It's just like it's not the sunglasses you were supposed to wear.
Yeah.
I just love how the
Nightwing looks
how the
solid if
well,
we're gonna give
honestly,
compliments.
the Bat fam, like Nightwing, Bruce, and
Mm.
Tim, they kind of look like they've got it together. They're like, what is? Okay, that's
He has
so
no
sick.
utility belt, by the way,
Yeah.
No.
with them blacked out like
And
that.
then
Mhm.
the Superman's like,
That's what
like they're all just.
I didn't notice. He's got like this like derpy looking face where
Yeah.
he's
It's the
just, like
Nick
very
Cage face.
smug looking. Yeah, that's what. Oh my God, you nailed
The
it.
art is rough. Like, let's just be clear. The back half of this book, the art is just way more all over the place than it is in the
Yeah.
first half. Like, the first
Yeah.
half is
Also-
much more consistent
yeah.
art.
Also,
They
there's no
made Poison
Azrael in
Ivy
that photo
ugly.
either.
How do you make Poison Ivy ugly? Sorry, I.
Yeah, it's rough. They should. It was kind of one of those things too, where Metallo was kind of Terminator-y looking, but like, and most of the time, it's
Well,
like
but this was the era
somewhat-
where he was Terminator-y looking. Like, this is the era where he could like move bodies, and he was just a robot skeleton.
It's almost legally like actionable in this one though too, where like in the other ones, at least you see the kryptonite heart like poking out or something. And this one, it's like, no, that just looks like the
T-1000.
yeah, exactly, pretty close. And Mr. Freeze is a bit of a joke in this one, but to be fair,
It's
I-
Mr. Freeze. He
Yeah.
should be a joke.
excuse you.
He-
Um,
He should have
It's not
a
that he
terrible
should be, but
Australian
relatively
accent.
speaking, compared to some of the other characters, like he's
I-
just not keeping up.
oh,
No.
I see. I see. It's because you want him to be like the Batman and Robin version. I see what's
Yes.
happening here.
Fair enough.
To be fair, I
It
love
is-
that Mr. Freeze.
It's
I-
true.
My favorite Batman movie is Batman and Robin.
Amanda, have
Um,
you listened to another past episode on Batman and Robin?
I haven't. Should I?
You should check it out because I talk about how I was like back and forth on Batman and Robin, and that it just in time, like on the most recent rewatch for Batman and Robin, I was like, I'm back in, and then like we go in from there. So
I love it. And I think it's the only time that we've got any sort of live action like representation for the actual like relationship between Bruce and Dick. And like he does very much like act like a dad. And it also has some really great one-liners from Alfred that are just like, oh, that'll hit you in the heart a little bit, you know?
Yeah, there's some parts of that where it's just like, what is this doing in this mostly goofy movie where like he has a line about like Batman where he's just like, what is Batman? But like what was it, to master the chaos that sweeps our world, talking about like to master death basically. And I was just like, what is this doing in this movie, guys? Like this
Yeah.
is crazy. Like one of the best lines in any Batman movie is in Batman and Robin.
But I want to point out, not too far off, because wasn't Batman and Robin like 97? And this is 99.
Was
So-
it 97 or 95? I'm gonna Google real fast. But keep talking.
I had
sorry.
97.
Okay.
Fairly certain.
97.
Nice, 97.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 99. I mean, regardless, it's not that big of a gap, but like when we're talking about Poison Ivy, when we're talking about like the mythos of the characters, like this book is directly being positioned in opposition to the negative backlash that Batman and Robin actually had at the time. So that might be why like Poison Ivy ends up being not as big of a character in the like the villain clash as she could be. If that movie had been a bigger hit, I think they would have like really emphasized her and Mr. Freeze.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. And also, like, to be fair, that it's one of those things where he's like part of an ensemble of villains, basically. So they're trying to just give like moments to these characters. It's not like narratively focused on him, like Two-Face for some
Yeah.
reason. But yeah, anyway.
Well, it's like the inverse ninja rule, where it's like the more ninjas you have, the less effective they are. The more supervillains you have in this situation, the less individually effective they are. They're just sort of like paired up against other ones for the sake of a clash. And you know, Mr. Freeze is just going to get outmoded by Metallo because Metallo is a way heavier hitter. Like
Yes.
But Poison Ivy can take him on, apparently.
I
In her
know. Also,
mind. Oh,
well,
and they fought before because he implied that she beat him before.
oh yeah, and I was confused by that part, and I was like, shit, I
Yeah.
can't remember that.
Yeah, it's in the canon of these books, I guess, or something. It's like, oh, that happened off camera.
Yeah. But yeah, this issue I think has a really good setup for being just a chapter in the series. It's the fact that it's like a double-sized issue that they then try to like tie up the whole like larger plot of the 10-issue series together in sort of like the back like 10 pages and like don't really have the space to really do this whole. I feel like we need one more issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
no.
let it breathe some more.
Yeah. Hey, Mike's like, I'm
No,
done now.
no, I don't think we need that
Also
issue.
fair.
I'll be honest, like I did definitely enjoy a lot of parts of these, but it was one of those two where I'm like, does the ending of this kind of like, because you go there to see like the ongoing relationship and how it develops and evolves, but I'm like, is bringing him back at the end kind of just like it's almost like a dream ending thing where it's just like invalidates the whole thing of them trying to like.
Well, you know, one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't invalidate the fact that they fucked up in the first issue.
Yeah.
Like regardless of the situation. And god damn, does this like try to like diffuse the responsibility on the whole thing where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, the
Yeah.
person who died isn't actually Harrison Gray. It's his
But a
body
person.
double who ran off into traffic because he was afraid of being uncovered. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, Amanda, you want to go?
No, a person still died. Like,
Yeah,
at the end of
exactly.
the day, a person still died.
A
Yeah,
person
isn't
still
it
died,
Alfred
and they
that's
still were
reassuring him, too?
ineffective as a team. Like the whole point of the first issue is that they don't have their shit together and they're not able to function as an appropriate team. And
Mhm.
that the second issue is them being like, well, fuck, we didn't have our shit together and someone died because we weren't able to be effective. How do we fix that? And that's what this series is about. And then the
Yeah.
last issue is like, it doesn't really matter. And like Superman's like, no, I still think that it's like a good thing that we like remember this. It's like, well, yeah, because you guys still fucked up. Like, regardless of who you thought died, someone died.
I also think that, like, them being the kind of men that they are, they would have still had that, like, even if they didn't personally know the person who died because of their
These
like
men are.
inability to work together, they
Yeah.
would have still had that same sort of like emotional reaction.
Yeah.
And I think like it's trying to downplay that. Like,
These
if they are
the.
good people, which presumably they are because they are fighting for the greater good, they are trying to make the world a better place, they should still have the like deep emotional like reaction and like the desire to be better and learn how to work in a group, in a partnership, like work as a team, so that that never happens again.
These men are not known basically for quickly getting over something, basically. So
No.
yeah, it's yeah. Yeah, it's also Alfred. I think it's Alfred that's trying to reassure him and everything. He kind of pulls a Jack Nicholson Joker in that with like it's like, "Oh, I'm glad you're dead," basically, where it's just he's talking about like, "Oh, well, he was a wicked person anyway, so it's kind of good he died. He deserved it." Like it was like, "Oh, all right, man. I don't really know if you can really make that call, but okay. And also, I think that like, I mean, Batman feels bad when even like, I mean, I'm gonna go to the Arkham City thing. He feels bad when Joker dies at the end of that game. I mean, like it doesn't matter who it is. Like a death is a death. Like he would still feel bad about it. It doesn't matter if it was a bad person or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And,
it's like written out of character.
and that's such a like invented character at the end of this being like, oh, it wasn't Harrison Gray, it was his body double who was a bad man.
I had to
Who
read that
poisoned
more than
him?
once to
Yeah,
understand
exactly.
it.
Like it's again, it doesn't matter if it was a bad man or not. Someone died, but
Yeah.
also
Mhm.
it's a person who we just invent in like the last like 4 or 5 pages to be like, oh, by the way, that guy happened to be a bad guy. We don't have to worry about him. Like we don't have to feel bad about him.
Yeah.
Like everything's good now. It's such a weird fucking ending.
Mm.
And I have to say, thank you guys so much for being here on this trip with me because I was like,
Sure.
hey, I really want to reread this like World's Finest book with the Batman podcast, like with y'all.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, this is a World's Finest book from the '90s that I remember really liking, and I stand by the statement that the structure of this book is really good and the overall
Mhm.
issues of this book is really good. But goddamn, is the framing device batshit insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will agree with you. I think that like the premise is really good and I do enjoy the structure and I enjoy like the this time next year. I think most of the stories were entertaining and like nice to read.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the last two issues are not that great,
That's nice.
especially the last one,
Yeah.
but like that's fine.
Yeah, it was, yeah. It's unfortunately because it's like there was definitely some like I will always now remember like thank you for sharing this with us because I always will now remember that I think I sent that to you whenever I first got the book was the image of Superman like carrying Batman like under his arm and everything being like this is now one of my favorite images like I wouldn't even know about that without it so like thank you for sharing this with me so I can look back on that and laugh. And then some of these I would honestly just out of context, like with the Jason stuff, I'd probably just read that one on its own sometimes, just because that's
Yeah.
just a really strong issue.
Yeah.
It is a really strong issue. I think there's some really good stuff in here. Like the Henchman Gang is really like good, like lead off to like the various like crossovers. Like the Batgirl and Thorn issue is a really nice like
Oh
look
yeah,
Yeah.
into their
Hmm.
respective like the burgeoning families that they're sort of building up around them.
mhm.
Even the encounter between Superman and Asbats is like a nice encounter to sort of like see where Superman feels and like how much he's willing to trust and give leeway to his friend, and the person who his friend trusts.
Definitely.
I mean, you even got the episode where Superman and Batman switch places for a while, or Clark goes to Arkham
Yeah.
to do an investigation. That was a really fun
Yeah,
episode too.
Yes.
that was fun.
I enjoyed that. I also really liked ah, sorry, give me 1 second. Somebody fill the air while I flip through this.
I will
Or
say
no.
that there were like two actually three scenes that was like, what the hell is this artist thinking? It's the big shot where everyone's falling or flying in place in the sky was like almost T-posing.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I was like, I looked at it, I was like, what happened here? And I was like, still, there's no Azrael in that shot, but he's in like two shots later, he's in a shot. And I'm like, was he here the entire time, or
I'm
was he
not.
just
I've been here the entire
he's
time.
just hanging out behind Batman, and we just couldn't see him because Batman is
I
like,
like the Graham Nolan stuff, like that issue, but like there was definitely some where I'm like, I'm not very familiar with this artist, and like it was one of those where I'm like, sometimes I'm like you said, the art looks great, and then other times, like J Mike, like you're saying, I was like, what the hell is this? Like I'd look at it, I'm like, that was a choice, man. Like why that? Like you, I don't know.
Yes. I liked I did also very much in the first half like the Interpol issue where like they had the fire and then Batman had been like keeping eyes on Metropolis and Superman
Oh yeah.
and they like I'm pretty sure they like stopped a robbery. I don't know. It's been a minute. But I think I
Podcast
remember in yeah, podcast time.
time.
But but I remember really enjoying that issue as well. Um how did so if you had to pick your favorite issue, each of you, which one would it be? Mine obviously would be a Smallville issue. I think it was really, really well done.
It might be the strongest issue overall. Um, I think to say something different, and because
Mhm.
this issue I do actually really like. We brushed over this one because Amanda, you're not as big a fan of the imps, but the Mr. Misthios Batmite
Yeah.
issue is always fun, and this is a period of time where Batmite does not exist. He is just the ravings of a drunk man who is hallucinating, and the convention for their crossover is that Mr. Misthios creates Batmite from the ravings of that lunatic. And I enjoy that as being like a scenario where it somehow makes both work because Batman was really trying not to have the weird shit that
Yeah.
was Batmite at this point in time in comics.
You know where I remember Batmite from? Like, it was in, like, even then it confused me. It was in the Deep Freeze episode of Batman the Animated Series where it was like this little robot thing that came up and got in Batman's face and says, "I just want to help," and kept saying that over and over again. Like the farmer, I think he's a farmer. He had like the little Batmite robot. That was my exposure to that character, and then the Grant Morrison stuff with Batmite existing and like the fifth dimension, like imagination and everything. Like
Mhm.
that was my 2 points of exposure for him, other than like obviously Brave and the Bold, where you had
Yeah.
Paul Rubens voice him, which
That
like that's one of my favorites,
that's what I was gonna
honestly.
say. My exposure to Batmite is Batman the Brave and the Bold. I will say that I do like I cannot say his name.
Oh wait, I didn't do my
Mr.
favorite.
Mxyzptlk.
Yes, I like his characterization in My Adventures with Superman, but I think it's probably because he looks like a Dragon Ball Z villain, and I'm just like, I think his character design is adorable, and
To
so
Yeah.
be fair,
to
that
be fair,
entire show was kind of like DBZ-ish the entire time.
Definitely.
no,
So,
no, because it definitely takes Sailor Moon inspiration because of his transformation sequence.
Yeah.
10 out of
yeah.
10.
Yeah, he does have a magical girl transformation. It's
eh,
it's shown in anime as fuck is like the thing that is my
Well, I
emotion
mean,
in all the best ways. Like there.
spoilers. I mean, it just so happens that a certain person is coming from the future in season 3 to tell them about some cataclysmic event that's going to happen.
Oh, the future Trunksing
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superboy, like you guys had guessed before.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. You heard it here first. But oh, anyway,
First.
oh,
Thanks.
is that thing? Like I thought you guys had
We
like
no,
pitched
that's what
that.
I'm saying. We did
Yeah.
actually like predict that Superboy would be a future Trunk situation, which is why I'm
Yeah,
saying it's not first.
yeah. I just wanted to have like I know the art has come out kind of for him, but like you guys were kind of saying, I just wanted to have like the little jean jacket thing or something
Yes.
that's like the
Yeah.
Capsule Corp kind of vibes to it. That'd be kind of cool. But
Yeah. All right,
Um,
Alex and J Mike, what are your favorite issues?
oh yeah, here we go. So I'm trying to think because I want to be like different a little bit. I like the no, I just honestly I can't. It's the Smallville stuff. Like
It's a really
it's
good
that one.
issue. It's
It's
a
a
really
really
so
good
good issue.
issue.
good.
That
Yeah.
one I'll go back and probably read on its own just as like a solid issue just to go back and read by itself. It stands on its own basically.
Yeah. J Mike, how about you?
I'm sticking with my choice. It's the Superman in Arkham
Okay,
episode or
yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
Just because it was so weird in the beginning because we couldn't tell if that was actually Superman or some random guy who's pretending to be
Yep.
Superman. And I was like, that's hilarious. He's
Is
wearing a
that the
bulletproof
only
armor.
reason? Is
Who
that the
would
only
stand there
reason
and
it's
take
your
bullets?
favorite?
Also, the most fucked up moment of the Joker in this entire series.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Is that the only reason
forgot
it's your
about that.
favorite, J Mike? Is because you can't tell who
No,
it
it was a
Okay.
funny intro. It was a funny intro because even the cops were like, "This can't possibly be a normal person because who would just stand here and get shot at willingly?" And I was like, Clark would totally do
There's a
It's a solid issue.
there's
Yeah.
another moment where like I think it's in near the last parts where like someone's just shooting. It's one of the villains is just shooting bullets at like Supergirl and they're just bouncing off. I'm like, what's that gonna do? Like it was like a small moment in one of like the final issues, but I noticed that. And they even commented on it where they were talking about it like they were shooting at Supergirl and you just see the bullets bouncing off and it's like
Was
it's
that
not gonna do
was that
anything.
Metallo talking about that? I think
Yeah,
because
yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
I think it was in the the last episode.
It was that
issue.
last issue where
Yeah.
we have all the team. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird because I'm like, bulletproof. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Although now that I think about it, Supergirl shouldn't bounce like shouldn't have
She's
bullets
goo.
bounce. She's goo. They should like
She's goo.
they should like stop
It should
and
be a
like
Luffy situation, right?
like have them go through her or
Or just
Okay,
like she
Luffy.
absorbs him and shoots him, or bounces, or
They
like,
bounce off of her because,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, because he's rubber and he just kind of like he goes into him and then they just go back. It should be a Luffy situation.
oh, I did have a question about that last episode because I thought that the girl who was hanging out with Jimmy
hmm
was Harley
with
Quinn.
Harley Quinn because she calls him Mr. J.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was the only person who saw that because I was like, wait,
So
it's
this
a
is
trap.
this is also like one of those like weird moments, and I wanted to like bring that one up. So thank you for mentioning it. Yeah, she calls him Mr. J, and
Mr.
so
J.
this is, I believe, like 2 or 3 years before Harley Quinn is introduced into the actual comic, but existed in the show. So I think this is before Harley Quinn is a comic character, and we can check that one right now while we're talking. Um,
Wasn't she created for the animated series?
she was created for the animated series, so
Yeah.
Well,
I think she was in the animated series, but not a comic character at this point, and so it's just a double mind
Shows
fuck.
up in No Man's Land first, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was introduced in 1999.
99, so the same year here.
But October. So if this came out before October,
I mean, regardless, the
Yeah.
timetable, like the series was running before that. Yeah, so that's
Yeah, because I was like, wait a second, this is a trap.
Yeah, I didn't know who she was either, though, to be fair. I was like, I guess this is just like his like helper or assistant or something.
when she later refers to him as Mr. O, and I'm just like, what?
Is that
Hey,
is that an original character case? Do you know?
The Batman guy.
No, this is a Jimmy's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
his assistant for this. I don't know
Yeah.
her history.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
They didn't really
I
do
know
a
that
great
this is like the
job.
period where like Jimmy is part of GBS, where he was like an action news guy.
Yeah. I know like they're very like judgmental and dismissive of his journalism where it's just like, oh yeah, you want to call that journalism? And it's like, hey, he's up. Come on. He's doing his job. But yeah.
Is he Lady Man Jimmy at this point in the comics or no? Well, because like there are points in the comics where he is, right? Where he
Yeah,
goes-
yeah.
Yeah, no, totally.
yeah.
A little bit because he's like a TV star.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's famous.
Well, I mean, I think Jimmy's kind of always been famous just because he's Superman's best friend and everyone kind of knows who he is at this point. So, but they're also like, Jimmy, get out of here, go home,
Yeah.
because you never know when Two-Face might show up and like cause this great thing to happen. Oh my god!
Yeah. Yeah.
Once again, Two-Face.
Two-
Of all the villains, it had to be Two-Face.
Yeah. So, did anyone else have any like final thoughts on the book, or did we all kind of get to all of our talking points in general, or?
Another great shot is that last shot of them at the funeral where Superman has this stupid smile on his face.
Wedding?
The wedding, the wedding,
Yeah.
the wedding.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not
Yeah.
funeral, the wedding last. That's like the last page where he and Batman are like posing together, and he's got that stupid smile on his face. I laughed when I saw that.
Oh yeah, in the background where he's just like grinning
Like,
ear to ear and
yeah.
like yeah.
And his glasses are like full glare, so you can't see his eyes.
Yeah. I was like, that's shit-eating grin he has.
Yeah. I do like the final shot though, obviously, of them standing and then like that iconic thing of like their costume personas being like giants behind them is very,
Right.
very classic Superman Batman stuff. So yeah.
That's some of the best art in that last chapter. Oh my goodness.
Learn
Yeah.
to like each other. Y'all are best friends. What are you talking
That's
about?
the thing. Like, I guess we can kind of this can be the thing we go out on. So like I when I was younger, I used to much more be like, oh, they wouldn't really get along. And now the older I get, the more I'm just like, just have them be friends. It's so nice when they're friends. Like there's so much going on in the world right now. Just let Batman and Superman be friends. Like there's it's so much more fun. You can do so much more with their dynamic when one of them's not being moody and being like, "Oh, I don't work well with others even though I have like an entire Bat family and
Yeah.
like the Justice League that I with and everything." Like, come on, get over it, man. Just work with Superman.
Yeah, it makes sense that it takes a little while. And so in a story like this to sort of explain why they eventually become best friends makes plenty of sense.
Mhm.
Again, I think that the structure is so good for this book, and I think that the individual chapters are pretty good for this book. I think that the 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 check-in points are what makes sense in 1999 in terms of like the big story moments that we need to check in for both the characters. If you're looking for a primer of what you need to know about Superman and Batman in 1999 specifically, this is pretty good for that. I think
Mhm.
I think they gives you the basic briefing of all the important characters and some of the unimportant characters like Riot. Uh, but it's a fun enough story that like we just looked at the 1990 World's Finest on Men of Steel, and that one is the art is gorgeous, and it sort of does a great job of just like having this like kind of lackadaisical Batman Superman story where their whole supporting cast overlaps each other, and the story itself doesn't matter. It's just kind of nice to vibe with them. And this one
Yeah.
has a little bit more story meat to it. Like even the framing device has more meat to it than what the other one did. This one is uh way better, I think, as the sum of its parts than in the final actual totality of it. Like that framing device is just not that strong, but the individual chapters are really strong. And so that sort of ends up in the situation where I'm like, yeah, no, like it's the thing that you're biting into it for, like the actual like totality of it is the thing that's really good. But if you had to say like, does it like elevate beyond? Like, no, not at all. Like, it's exactly what like you're here for, which is like we're going to talk year over year Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, overall, like I said, really enjoyed this. My prior experience with Batman and Superman was the Jeff Loeb stuff. I haven't read a lot of Batman and Superman, World's Finest-esque stuff. So this was nice just to kind of get a different flavor of it. And then I guess we'll thank you guys for coming on, and we can go into
Plugs.
plugs and then kind of wrap the show up after that. So you guys want to
Yeah.
go first since you guys are our guests.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you again for having us on. Thank you for being part of this two-parter.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you let me twist your arms on this one after the previous ones. I was just like, yeah, let's talk about the 1999 World's Finest book. And that
It's
seemed to
great.
make sense to chat with you guys about it. So we can be found at the Men of Steel podcast, which is part of the Certain Point of View podcast network. So you can find it wherever you get your podcasts. And if you happen to be finding it on YouTube, the place where you can find it is at Certain POV Media, where it is part of one YouTube channel, but it's on its own podcast feed on all that stuff. Meanwhile, for social media, I can be found at Case Aiken on most platforms except for Instagram, where I'm holding on to dear life my AIM screen name from high school, which is Quetzalcoatl 5, Quetzalcoatl 5, because I was so fucking pretentious in high school. You have no idea. Meanwhile, J Mike can be found at.
Oh, me? Oh gosh, I'm not that special. But you can find me over at j-5.bluesky.social. I'm over there. Sometimes we talk with Case. Sometimes he sends me fun things. I post fun little articles I find whenever I can.
Nice. Cool. And so, did you want to do your plugs or did you want me to do just all of them like I normally do? What do you want?
So, as I mentioned earlier, I do have another podcast, and it is the Review More Girls.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how we spell it. That sounds so bad.
I think it's just like review
Yeah, yeah.
more like
Okay,
two
sorry,
put
because
together.
our email has a dot. So yeah, it's just review more girls. Review more is one word, girls. We're on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram. We don't ever post anything on Instagram. We are reviewmore.girls. We are currently working our way through season 1 of Gilmore Girls. If you want to follow me, my cosplay Instagram is I_can't_with_words. But yeah, that's all I really have. Take it away.
Cool. So, obviously, you guys can find us here, Night of the Batman. We talk and review basically anything Batman related, fan films, movies, comics, like in this episode. Music maybe one day, who knows, we'll see. Just, anything basically under the sun that's Batman related, we will talk about.
A board
And
game at some point.
sure, yeah, we got that too. So, obviously, most of the time it is with my wife. This is her show. She will tell you it is her show, and we have other guests on occasionally. And so, if you like superhero related things, I have two great shows for you. So, I have Flashbacks, a Flash rewatch podcast, where we review every single episode of the CW Flash show as well as its different crossovers and comics on the off seasons we have covered, or even during the season sometimes. We covered the 90s Flash show with John Wesley Shipp. I am a big fan of that show. The show's very solid. I actually got the opportunity to meet him one time. He's great. And we're actually gonna, for Halloween, we're gonna review a random issue of Mark Waid's Flash Wally West run where it's Abracadabra in it, and it's like kind of creepy. So like look forward to that. That's actually our next episode coming up. We thought we'd do a little Halloween special, and then again, if you like more superhero related stuff, superhero stuff you should know, I co-host with my friend Ben where we do deep dives on unproduced scripts, occasionally movie reviews, storyboards, concept art. Basically just a big theme of that is, yeah, books too. We occasionally cover books and cover like the comics, and he does Easter egg videos too. But yeah, if that's your thing, go over there. It's a great show. I'm kind of biased. I was even a fan of that before I joined, so definitely go check that out. And then if you kind of like, just if you like hearing me talk and like hearing like, that kind of hangout vibe, I have Tangential Exchange where me and my best friend Trip just kind of drink and just talk about whatever comes to mind, basically. That's my most laid back show, and it's probably the closest to hanging out with me probably actually is, I've been told. So, yeah, definitely check all those things out. And all that being said, we have a outro that is not an outro that we normally do. Did you forget how to do this outro?
Outro eventually.
Yeah. Did you guys want to join us in saying this together through the magic of Zoom? I'll give us a countdown.
I don't remember what the outro is.
No, that is the outro.
Outro eventually.
That's the outro.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
1, 2, 3.
We
will come up with an outro.
Outro eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah.
There we go. Awesome.